NCAA Pick'em Boys 2024 Week 10. We're almost at the end. Oh, breaks my heart. I didn't even realize I just read it for the first time after editing it. Picks are due Saturday, November 2nd at 11 a.m. And the first game, Thursday, October 31st at 6:30 p.m. Boy, I cannot wait to get into week 10. I think we have a good slate of games this week. But before we do that, let's get into the week 9 recap. We had two people going 5-0, Shannon and Steven. Congratulations to y'all. And more than half, I believe, going positive. Lots of 4-1s and lots of 3-2s. And then on the back 9, we got Christian Crenwelge at the top going 2-3. A lot of people going 2-3. Nobody going 0-5, which is always a good thing. Not going to get you anywhere either way, but still, nonetheless. And overall, we have a new king of the throne, and that's Steven, 29-16. And Tommy, Brandon, and Zach all tied 28-17. And Matthew there, 27-18. So, boy, things are getting tight at the top. And last but not least, a few games that a lot of people bet on. A lot of people were doing pretty well and had a wide variety of picks. So there wasn't as many dense picks as there were normally. But for starters, let's do Notre Dame at Navy. 51-14, and it was Notre Dame to win by 12. A lot of people, I believe, had Navy, and that's unfortunate. So tough luck for y'all. And then we had a ranked 8 LSU at ranked 14, Texas A&M. I think a lot of people had a little too much faith in LSU. And lo and behold, we had 38-23 final score to A&M. Last but not least, a game that I really needed was Kansas at ranked 16 Kansas State. 29-27 Kansas State. The issue was the spread was 9.5. So that ain't happening. Just a little too close to call. All right. I think we done did it. We done did it all. Time to get into week 10. Introducing the boy, the myth, the legend, the man that knows it all. And as I'm saying that, our other host that's not on the screen, he said he could join, but it would have to be in like 15 minutes because he's driving.
He can always just record his opinion and throw it in later. But yeah, I mean, I'm sounding a little hoarse. I think it's a combination of the LSU A&M game actually being able to attend and whatever germs little kids have nowadays. I just can't get over this cough, man. I sound terrible.
That is unfortunate. You do sound absolutely horrendous, brother.
Yeah,
No offense.
just like my picks of last week.
Hurts. It hurts. I was going to do our Mortal Lock, but I can't seem to find the page that I put it on. So I guess we ain't talking about it. I do believe
I lost because I chose LSU. That's what I
right.
remember.
That's right. I don't know if I got mine either. We're gonna have to look back, but you'll see the edit down there. You know how it works.
Either way, I'm either first or tied for first. That's all that matters.
That is true. I know Peter's not in contention, so it's you and me, Buckaroo. All right, we're going to get into a few games. I'm sure we're going to insert Peter's take on his pick. But we're going to start with ranked 4, Ohio State. At ranked 3, Penn State. Ohio State to win 3.5. Jerry, do you have any take on this right out of the rip?
Yeah, so I am going to assume that Peter's going to choose Ohio State. So I'm going to talk as if he's already given us his opinion. And I disagree with that Ohio State pick. I mean, it's at Penn State. They said they're both, I mean, they're at the very top of the Big Ten, only really behind Indiana. But this is kind of an interesting game, is why Peter would pick this one because they're against the spread. They're both 3-4. Nothing really spectacular there. But when you look at the numbers, as I always like to do, going offense versus defense for the opposing team. I mean, Penn State's defense looks pretty good against Ohio State's offense. I mean, they're in the better category for rushing and passing, and yards per rushing attempt and yards per completion attempt. That looks really good there. On the flip side, I mean, it's the same thing with Ohio State. I like where Peter was saying whatever he said. I think this is ultimately going to come down to home field advantage. And 3.5 is intriguing, but I do like Penn State to just flat out win this one. So I'm choosing Penn State for Peter's pick.
Now, I would have to disagree with you, Jerry. I think Ohio State, I really wish the spread was at 2.5. I'd feel like
Right.
a little bit more comfortable with that to keep it within a field goal, but now we need a field goal and some change, and that's no good. But Ohio State knows pressure. They just not even 2 weeks ago, I believe, just got done playing Oregon and lost barely.
On a
And then
cheat doodle play.
yeah, yeah, no kidding. That was a good game. But Penn State, I would say, hasn't really felt true pressure. Maybe USC. I would say that like Penn State's been playing a bunch of B teams, in my opinion. You know, Wisconsin, UCLA, Illinois, Bowling Green. But USC maybe is like the A team of the B team where
I
that was
mean,
enough pressure going, them still winning 33-30, but that was a little bit more pressure than normal. I think Ohio
right.
State's just going to give them that right amount of pressure to barely win this game. I'm not going to say it's not going to be like a two-score game, I don't think. I think it'll be a one-score. But yeah, give me Ohio State 3.5. I'll lay the number, unfortunately.
Yeah, I did look at a little bit more into the stats. The head-to-head heavily favors Ohio State, going 9-1.
Holy
I
cow.
do, yeah, I do forget that Ohio or Penn State just struggles with ranked teams, and like historically, and this could be it. Like I don't understand what it is about James Franklin and their and his coach teams. Like they win games that they shouldn't win, but then they also lose games that they shouldn't lose. But where it is interesting is that again, like head to head against the spread, Penn State is 70% covering the spread.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's fair. Lovely. Well, thanks for your input, Peter. Let's move on to the next game. This one could be intriguing or could be the boringest game of all time. We're going to find out. Ranked 13, Indiana at Michigan State. Spread 7.5 favoring Indiana. Coming
Yeah.
in hot. What is it?
So this is just, in my opinion, a sexy, just gem of a pick when it comes to our run your pool stuff. I mean, you going by the Big Ten rankings, you have number one versus number 11. Michigan State has not been the same these last couple of years, and Indiana is just on a tear. Not only are they undefeated overall, but against the spread, they are 7-1 compared to Michigan State's 4-4. Even though it's in Spartan Stadium, I don't see this really being a concern for Indiana. I mean, nearly every offensive category favors Indiana's offense over Michigan State's defense. And the same is true when it comes to Michigan State's offense against Indiana's defense. Like it's just a good one. And it's hard to really look at the head to head comparison because is this not the first or second year under um, under their new head coach that came from James Madison? I mean, the guy has done an amazing job over there. I like Indiana 7.5. I would probably still pick them if the spread was at 10.5.
I don't disagree. Indiana's been sailing through teams. They're playing, I mean, really good offense, extraordinary offense. It's a lot of fun to watch them too. And for one, them covering the spread 7-1 this week. I mean, not this week, this season. That's a pretty damn good record being this late into the season.
Right.
It's not often that we see a one missed spread, not covering. Michigan State just has no follow through at all. They when they look like they have something going, one touchdown and maybe like a kick the field goal. So like they're running 10 points. It's shut down immediate. I just don't know what it is. They need a little bit more charging than batteries. Uh, but they've been embarrassed enough this season, so I'll let them go for now and give me Indiana. I will lay 7.5 all day long.
And for the record, the one loss against the spread that they have was that 26-point favorite against FIU to start the season, and they scored 24. I
Yeah,
mean, this could have been an undefeated against the spread team as well as an undefeated record. It's hard to pick against Indiana again, like, especially in this matchup. I think this is a no brainer. Got to go with it.
and that's the question. Are we going to catch them in the playoffs this year?
I'm surprised they're not ranked higher,
Yeah,
honestly.
I know.
I mean, I'm looking at their overall schedule. It's nothing really impressive, honestly, but at the same time, like, you know what? I'm gonna do some research. Let's get to your topic, and then we'll talk about the top 25.
Yes, sir. All right. Last but not least, we have always on the board. It seems ranked 10 Texas A&M at South Carolina. Spread only sitting at 2.5, which makes me believe that the bookmakers know something we don't. Now, I think about this game and I close my eyes, and all I picture is Texas A&M Mississippi State game when things were getting dicey for no apparent reason. But if A&M keeps Marcus Reed in, I don't think South Carolina can put up with or I'd be able to stop the run game. So I'm cool with that. Although South Carolina loves to cover, we're talking basically a pick 'em game with these 2.5s. And the other thing that I was going to say that I completely forgot is head to head, A&M has won this game 9-1 times. So at it with this spread sitting at 2.5, you just got to give me Texas A&M to win the game 2.5.
Man, this is not a game that I would want to touch because after that LSU game, there's a lot of Aggies that are thinking that that Reed is the quarterback, like QB1, and honestly, he should be. He's comparing this season's Wegman to what Reed is and what we've seen so far in the season. I feel like that you get more bang for your buck under Reed. The problem is for me is that I mean I called it. LSU's rush defense is the reason why A&M won that game, and the lack of passing is what concerns me for A&M's offensive production, especially under Reed. It's the other side of the coin when it comes to Wegman, where passing may not be as big of a concern. His running game is
Awful.
non-existent.
Awful.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen, or obviously I've seen South Carolina's defense, um, but I am interested to know what their rush defense looks like as far as how this season has gone, um, because it shouldn't be a shocker if, yeah, okay. So South Carolina's rush defense is sitting at 16th in the nation,
Wow.
which, yeah, I mean that's a big deal. They're allowing roughly 2.8 yards per rush and overall just 10 rushing touchdowns for the season and an average yards per game of 101. So if South Carolina does what LSU needed to do and stop the running game, then this could get one-sided very quickly. But at the same time, South Carolina is turnover prone. They are as wishy-washy as, well, heck, my Maytag washing machine in the laundry room at the moment. The only nod that South Carolina has is not only is their rush defense really good, which is probably what they're preparing for in a lot of the RPO with Marcel Reed, but at the same time, um, they're 5-2 against the spread. I I think I mean I gotta agree with you. I think A&M is gonna be riding high. I think Mike Elko has this team in a fantastic spot, and they're gonna fire on all cylinders. But I think this is going to be more of a game of South Carolina losing it rather than A&M winning it, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It's South Carolina's to lose.
100%.
Yeah. 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 I don't disagree. Good take, Peter. All right. So what? We got some top 25 talk or what?
Yeah, so I don't know if you can see this, but top 25 is garbage at the moment, with the fact that Indiana only sits at 13 and you have teams like Clemson ahead of them and Alabama just right behind them. I hate it so much. And at the same time, I mean, you have Miami, who has had more luck with the refs than any other team in
Oh
the
my
nation this year,
gosh, no kidding.
jumping Texas, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Texas was on a bye week. So I don't see how they could realistically jump Texas with Miami. It's it's weird. I'm not convinced that Oregon is the best team in the nation, and I'm also not convinced that Georgia's the number 2 team in the nation. The top 5 is just like a cluster, but my biggest gripe is having Iowa State at 11, Clemson tied Iowa State for this the 11th seed, and then Indiana at 13. That makes no sense to me. Indiana is one of 4 8-0 teams, and they are the lowest rated 8-0 team in the top 25.
I
They should
think
be in the top 10 easy.
agreed. I cannot believe BYU is still hanging on by the one thread they have left. The whole team holding on.
Yeah.
Every fourth quarter is the luckiest. When you think like their luck can't run out, they have an even luckier game, and it just keeps going and going and going. I I don't like that they're in the top 10, but they're 8-0, so you could provide an
And
argument
it
for
is a
that.
power 4
Yeah,
conference now,
right. And
Now what
I hate Notre Dame just out of
Yeah,
principle.
let's talk about Peter's favorite team here. Why on God's green earth did they beat a top 25 team and jump up 4 spots,
Oh, I didn't even know
eclipsing
it was 4.
BYU? Yeah, according to ESPN, they said that the trend, they jumped up 4, BYU jumped up 2, Texas A&M jumped up 4, but LSU dropped 8 spots.
Yeah,
Now, I
yeah.
understand LSU has 2 losses, and their first loss is against a USC team that is now looking like garbage. But at the same time, how on God's green earth is Notre Dame, who lost to NIU in the top 10, and Indiana, who has been manhandling teams reminiscent of the 2019 LSU Tigers,
Yeah,
at 13?
yeah. That's and how about the randomness of the top? You know, 18 to 25. Not
Yeah,
Pittsburgh's
I mean,
understandable. I never thought
Pittsburgh
I'd
should
see
be
Ole Miss that low.
above. Yeah, Pittsburgh should honestly be like about 14 above Alabama, Boise State, LSU, and Kansas State. Ole Miss, I mean, I'm fine with him there. SMU fine with him there. Army's getting no love whatsoever. And I
Right.
honestly did not know that Washington State was 7-1 for the season. Where did they come from?
I have no idea. I wonder if they. I gotta click on their team real quick because I want to see if they actually won that. Yeah, they did win that Washington game. Man, Washington sucks this year. Uh, Boise, that's understandable too. They
Yeah.
lost to Boise, but that was it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with Boise's location. It's it's Alabama that I'm really staring at. I'm like, it could be a little bit of bias, but at the same time, like let's look at the quality of losses. LSU kept it close for a half of football against Texas A&M, and it took a complete 180 of an offense to make it a two-score game. And then they lost to a USC team in week 1 that everyone was extremely high on. Alabama, I mean, yeah, they lost to Vanderbilt, which they should still be in the top 25, in my opinion. But they also, I mean, they just did not look good. I forgot who they lost to. Tennessee. Yeah, they lost to Tennessee in horrible fashion. They nearly blew a huge lead against Georgia. Almost wish they lost that one just because it would be the biggest comeback in Alabama history, probably. Like, there's nothing about this Alabama team that's special or anything. It's just kind of like they have to be tickling the college football playoff just because it's Alabama. They've always been in it ever since its inception.
Yeah, I know the rankings with Alabama. The people that decide this crap are like just like trying to let them hold on. They're at the
Hmm.
edge of the cliff, holding arm to arm. Don't slip, don't let go. And they're like, we have to, it's coming. And a little sweat, and then just like that. And we'll see, we'll see,
I
because a
mean,
lot more people could creep to the top before Alabama could do better. That kind of thing. Look at that.
well, son of a gun.
I was hanging out with Gavin's sister, so sorry, not.
Mm, that sounds
Incredible.
like fun.
Okay, Peter, real quick, give me your Ohio State, Penn State take. You
Let
have
me just
it.
double
Do you need a
check.
second?
Yeah, you need 2 seconds. Just pull up
I don't
there.
think
Okay.
Georgia deserves to be in second at all.
Nope. Nope.
Uh, there, there's a lot of questionable, fraudulent teams sitting in the top five.
You know who would make
Absolutely.
this perfect? BCS.
No, BCS was the worst system. It really was.
You are the worst system. We went from taking computers that have no emotion and no bias, just straight up sexy raw data, and put teams in the rightful spot to emotion individuals that like, well, we've seen this team here. Let's give it this time because this would be a better one. You like remember what happened with Florida State? It's like, oh, you lost your quarterback. This wouldn't be good football or would it be good television? Screw that. I don't care about that. Give me the best teams on the field. You did not do that. That it has there are other college football playoff is flawed with emotions and people's feelings. Screw people's feelings. Give me the computer raw data. That's where it's at.
I do think the playoff is flawed right now, but I think it has the highest chance of like actually being accurate compared to the BCS, which just takes out the humanity of sports, which is like you need that in sports.
You don't. When it comes to ranking 1 through 25, all you need is the raw data. That is all you need.
Yeah, but don't you love
Wow.
chaos though? That's
Oh, I
your kink.
absolutely love it. But look what we had in 2007. 2007 was a college football playoff game or playoff year. That was a BCS year. And boy, that year, oh, just the epitome of sexy chaos. It was perfect. It was beautiful. Boo hoo to everyone that was crying at the 2011. I mean, I hated the fact that Alabama got in the game. That's true. But the BCS didn't care. BCS said those are the two best teams and they need to be playing for the national championship game. People's emotions ruining things. Screw emotions.
Says the emotional one right now. Your
I'm
therapist
sticking
should
up
be
for the
nodding his
computer that
head.
can't. I'm sticking up for the voiceless computers right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see you parading down the streets, brother, in protest.
Oh yeah, I'll be there with the ones and zeros on the picket line.
Yeah. Peter, I picked Ohio State and Jerry picked Penn State.
Yeah. Honestly, both these teams are just frauds. Like, how the hell are they 3-4? Like, beats me. What I look at Ohio State, you should have lost to Nebraska at home. And Nebraska is essentially just people on their team that look like me. Unathletic and not good at football. Um, and then Penn State is the epitome of playing to their opponent. Um, the only game they've like blew out a team was Kent. Besides that, they've been within one score. So my guess, so I'm actually oh, where's this game at? My bet's gonna be Penn State. Um, just because like they don't win by large margins, they don't lose by large margins. They haven't lost yet, obviously. But Ohio State is the one where I think playing in Penn State is going to be a night game. It's going to be a whiteout. I think that's besides Kyle Field.
So hold on. It's an 11 o'clock afternoon kickoff.
Oh, wow. Because I was going to say, because Penn State's one of the hardest places to play at night, if not the hardest. Um, but if it's 11, I almost
I
want to
mean,
lean Ohio State then.
the reflection of the sun on all those white t-shirts can be a bit blinding, I guess.
Yeah. Um, I'm still gonna go Penn State. Ohio State just doesn't cover. They're not a good covering team.
But you know what they do
Neither is
cover?
Penn State. First Penn
This
State.
this game head to head.
True. The thing is, yeah, Ohio State owns Penn State. They really do. But I don't know. I think Ohio State's like teetering a lot more on like collapsing. Where Penn State, they don't look great. They don't look bad, but Ohio State looks like dangerously bad. So I'm still gonna go Penn State. I do think it can go either way, but it's just these teams like they're ranked 3 and 4. They really should be like 12 and 13, like out of top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Um, or maybe not out of top 10. Well, both of them shouldn't be in the top 10. I could see one. I could see Penn State being top 10, but Ohio State definitely not. I get their only loss
So
is Oregon, but they both shouldn't be in the top 5 nor in the top 10 together.
so Peter, real quick, if you choose between Indiana at Michigan State, 3:30 kickoff, Indiana 7.5 point favorite, who do you have with that one? Just quick one liner.
Indiana all day.
Okay. Texas A&M at South Carolina, 6:30 kickoff, A&M 2.5 point favorite.
Yeah, A&M.
Okay, great. Now, I've been doing some research while y'all were chatting about that. And Peter, I do apologize. I thought you would choose Ohio State. So it's going to sound weird that I disagree with you, but then say the same thing that you said, essentially. So there is a computer ranking on here, Condra Computer Rankings, and their top 10 looks like this. Tell me yay or nay. Number 1, Oregon.
I'm fine with that.
For now, yes.
2, Penn State. Sorry for the balloons.
I think that's high. I think that's high.
Well,
That's
yes.
just me. But
Yes. They're 7-0.
3, Ohio State.
no.
4 is Texas.
No.
5 is Miami.
Yes.
I'm fine with Miami at 5.
All right, 6 through 10. Georgia, Notre Dame, Iowa State, Clemson, and Tennessee.
No to Clemson.
Just no.
Just no. I hate Notre Dame.
Right.
I think
Uh,
Notre Dame needs to be like 10. They need to live at 9 and 10 right now.
But what about Clemson? Clemson should be 11.
Yeah.
Oh, if we're talking
I would
about
put
like where they should
Clemson
be on the
over Notre
stat
Dame.
ranking. Well, I mean, no,
I think
yeah.
A&M needs to be above Texas and Tennessee right now. Just like how I
Right.
think Indiana needs to be over Ohio State right now. Because of like, I think conference matters. I do. So I'm like, if you're number one in your conference, you shouldn't be behind like 3-4 teams that are in your conference.
Yeah.
In
Right.
rankings. Anyway.
So to give you an idea, according to this computer rankings, Indiana is number 11. A&M is number 13, just behind Ole Miss. Alabama's 15. LSU is 20th. Tulane is 23rd.
Interesting.
And then just outside of the top 25 at number 26 is Louisiana Lafayette.
They won me some money yesterday.
But yeah, no, I agree with Peter. Top 25 is just absolutely
Where was Alabama
nut
in
job
that?
case. According to them, Alabama was 15th.
Okay. And then the fact that Ole Miss is ahead of A&M is astonishing.
Yeah, they are according to this, they are the third best SEC team behind Texas, Georgia. I'm sorry, fourth. Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee.
So it's A&M, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee.
Texas
Is
Tennessee,
number 1? Yeah, duh.
Texas is number 4.
Oh.
Georgia's at 6. Tennessee's at 10. Mississippi's at 12. All right, Tennessee's at 10. Mississippi 12. A&M 13.
Right. Man. Yeah.
Just give me the computers back. Screw people's emotions. I don't want people's opinions. Just give me the facts.
It's certainly more accurate than what we have now, but also I'm going to debate them either way. They're never going to be perfect. I'm always going to have a problem with it.
You know why?
Why?
You have opinions.
I think we need to have a combination of the two. Just because it's like you can't take stats out of sports, but you also can't take the human side out of sports. So like, I think there needs to be a way to marry both, and I don't think we've had either with BCS. I don't think we have it with the playoff. But I think if there's a way to tie the BCS with the playoff, what that look like, I don't know yet. But
well, have you ever considered that the human side that you're talking about is what produces the statistics?
To a degree. But like, because like I hate that. I love and hate this phrase where people say they pass the eye test. I think it's the stupidest thing for that. It's what ESPN uses to say, "Oh, we're going to put Bama at 14 with 2 losses just so they can sneak in the last week at the 12 seed." Anyway,
Hate it.
but I do think there's like something to that in terms of like I think an example is Penn State, Ohio State. You watch them, and nothing about them says number 3. Nothing about them says number 4. So I'm like, why are they up there? But I think like Texas, stats wise, yeah, they're number 6. But I think they're closer to like 9 or 10 right now because they almost lost to Vanderbilt and they lost at home, even though it's to Georgia. But Georgia showed that they're not untouchable. So it's just like Georgia beating Texas really does screw up a lot of things with the rankings. It really did.
Soft pitch. Alabama is going to be out of the playoffs because they're going to get outpaced by other teams, even if they win out.
Yeah, because Alabama doesn't have a chance for the SEC championship. That was their only saving grace.
Well, they also have a bye week this week, and then they go to LSU.
Yeah, like I think
body bag.
Yeah, like LSU.
Oh, I hope we skull drag them. Just I want to see them eat as much dirt as possible.
Sorry, you were saying, Peter?
I forgot. You did. Keep going.
No, I done did it. I done did it now.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Any other takes? Missouri shouldn't be in top 25
without their starting quarterback. Yeah, but you know what? That's the problem with opinions. Stupid opinions. According to bcsknowhow.com here, they have Missouri at 25.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't see why Indiana's not in the top 10 or the top 12 even, because it's like you're 8-0, you're first in the Big Ten.
And they've been steamrolling teams, like
Right,
legitimately steamrolling teams.
yeah, it's like they're because obviously they've had a little bit, had an easier schedule, like for sure. But yeah, like they're not winning. They're beating the cheeks off people
Yep.
handily. And I looked at the Nebraska game. They beat them 56-7. Ohio State, like I said, should have lost to them. I watched that game. But yet Ohio State's number 4?
Yeah. I mean, even on this BCS rankings, which they say they use the AP, the coaches poll, the Billingsley computers poll, the Colley computers poll, Massey computers poll, Sagarin R computers poll, and Wolf computers poll. Basically, they're doing the BCS what it would have been today as of October 28th. Apparently, Indiana's not doing enough beating these teams because the BCS has them at 13 and Notre Dame at 9. So I guess there is some continuity across the board. Just sent y'all the top 25 in the text message so y'all can see it.
Yeah, I see that. I hate Clemson. I still really hate Notre Dame.
Fun fact, my grandfather coached at Clemson before coaching at LSU.
That's cool.
I did not know that.
The issue with Notre Dame is they're not going to drop a game the rest of the season.
They lost to NIU. Every game is a potential drop game.
Damn, BCS has BYU at 8 too. Oh, ain't no way.
I'll tell you what though, Indiana playing at Ohio State, second to last week of the year, big game.
That would mean a lot.
Ohio State loses, I think they're out of the playoff.
Ooh.
No ifs, ands, or buts. It'll be their second loss at home. It validates Indiana, makes Ohio State a fraud.
If they lose to Indiana that late, BCS wise, they'll still be in. Because look at it, Alabama has 2 losses, and they're right on the cusp of it.
I think the one thing though with the playoff, which is I hate how they're doing it, but it's like
you hate the human aspect of it. Is that what I heard?
I think they just should have kept like if you're 1 through 12, you're in. None of this. If you win your conference championship, you're in automatically, or because then you get the whole issue of okay, so say SEC for example, if it's Texas A&M and LSU, like that scenario, I think you were saying Jerry or someone was saying it, or is if say A&M wins, okay, they're automatically in. Well, LSU's the runner-up, so shouldn't they be number 6 or number 7 or something? Like the runner-ups of the championship games also get clout. So that's where I'm like, okay, so it's essentially just 1 through 10. We're probably not all 5, but 1 through just 8 even. Is that going to be the winner of a conference and the runner-up of the conference, and then
and in the same breath, like if in that scenario, if LSU were to lose again to A&M, they would have played one more game than any other team outside of championship week. Is that one loss going to be counted against them? And you're going to have a 2-loss team and potentially like a Mississippi or an Alabama who may even have 3 losses if they lose to LSU next week. Do they get priority because they have 1 loss or 1 less loss?
Right.
It's stupid. I hate it.
I don't understand why Tennessee's. I don't get these teams that were up like big upsets. Why they're so highly ranked still?
Yep.
Like I think like for example, A&M's 7-1. Their 1 loss is Notre Dame. The first week of the season, it was really a 1-score game, not 2. It's just things like that.
Loss. It was a good loss.
Right, hardest game of the year by far in terms of like to start off with. So I don't know. I just don't get the committee. I just think they're a bunch of old men that have way too much like weight for the Texas, the Tennessees, the Alabamas because of what they have been.
Damn, Peter, I die by my own sword.
But
you were saying the exact same thing that I'm saying.
But like I said, though,
skirting around the word opinion.
Man, you talk like a liberal, Peter.
Thing is, but the BCS takes out too much. Like, you need some opinions in you're not baseball, in sport.
No,
You need
no,
some. You
no,
need
no,
some.
no. The only opinion that you need is what play to call during the game. Opinions in this, Gavin.
This is great. Great conversation. We learned a lot about people's feelings. Peter, nice of you to join us at the tail end.
That's what I do.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, picks are due Saturday, November 2nd at 11 a.m. Be there, be squared. There's one guy 3 weeks in a row. Last minute, man. I'm watching you. Go vote. Go vote. We don't publicly endorse verbally. So anyways, and then first game Thursday, October 31st at 6:30 p.m. Week 10. Let's have a day. Let's have a week. And once again, happy picking.